Hello, and welcome to Maximum Velocity Physical Therapy. This is the place of business. This is the HYPERSPEED RADIO first episode, and I just wanted to welcome you. This will be the short version of the full podcast. So see the link, click up above for the full podcast. First and foremost, I want to express my deepest condolences to the family and friends of the bike crash in the last few days here in Las Vegas. What an unbelievable tragedy it is. My heart goes out to all of them. I only knew Erin Ray, and she was a spark plug, phenomenal athlete. Would love a chance to have known her better, but my heart goes out to the community. More specifically, their coaches, their teammates, their friends, their family. It's just an unbelievable tragedy. Why should Ron Gallagher have a podcast? Why should Ron Gallagher have a podcast? Well, quite simply, because it's time. It's time that I step up my community outreach. I step up the education that I provide. I have access to tons and tons of really great people. I've had tons and tons of patients come through here. I mean, I have access to really great health professionals, really great coaches, Olympians, and there are people out there doing more, to be quite honest, with their social media and their outreach, with less of a list, less credentials, less experience, and quite simply, it's time for me to step it up. Well, Ron, why don't you start by sharing what some of your background is? Good question, Ron. I have a bachelor's degree in sports injury management, which is what they call athletic training. A master's degree in physical therapy, which back when I graduated 18 years ago, I can't believe it's been that long. I was the fourth class at the program at UNLV. In fact, when I was an undergrad, they didn't even have an accredited program. So that's how long I've been a physical therapist. I have been mentored by some great clinicians here in town. I have been around Olympians. I have gone to tons and tons of continuing education, especially in running, but manual therapy and some really great manual therapy driven type courses. I have been to running medicine 4 times. Running medicine is a really big running performance and rehab and gait training continuing education course that has had some of the brightest minds in all of the country. Brian Heiderscheit, Jay DeSherry, Chris Powers. These are PTs who are doing phenomenal things with athletes. I'm also a lifelong athlete. Played football, baseball, and basketball in high school. Was a cheerleader in college. Since then, I've played a really high level of softball. Traveled all around the country playing in softball tournaments. I am an Ironman, 6-time half Ironman, 5-time marathoner, 25 plus half marathons, countless sprints, Olympics, 5Ks, 10Ks, and have been all around the country racing and coaching. Cool, that's awesome. Good for you, Ron. Nice job. What would you say is the process of how you developed as a clinician? Good question, Ron. Essentially, I would say healthcare is broken. It's failing, really is. And Maximum Velocity is a different, fresh take on what it takes to get a person better. I simplify things. I ask some very simple questions. Does the person have the range of motion and the strength to do what they need to do? And over the years, I have developed evaluation practices, treatment protocols that are simple, and it's based on lots of science, lots of reading, lots and lots of continuing education, listening to some of the biggest and brightest minds in all of the country. And I use really sound techniques on gait evaluation, good manual therapy skills, and basically use strength as a key component to helping people get better. Oh, that's cool. Interesting. Well, in your bio and everything, it says you're a coach. Tell me how you became a coach. Good question. Well, simply, I think I was born a coach. I think that's who I am as a person, as a coach. In fact, some patients around here still call me coach. And I was dabbling in my own coaching of my performance. That's essentially the reason why I went to some of these courses, to try to learn about my body and my coaching, and ended up getting some certifications in run coaching, triathlon coaching. But I was approached by Khadivas Robinson, who at the time was a cross-country coach and distance coach at UNLV. And he asked me to come on board, and I jumped on the opportunity. The coaching staff over there are Olympic caliber athletes themselves, have been around some really high-level coaches in their time, and the wealth of knowledge over there was spectacular. I even got to coach in the Olympic trials. KD was running at the time, and he couldn't coach the runner that we had that qualified. She didn't end up running. She got bumped the weekend before in a last chance meet, but we still got a coaching credential, and she got an athlete credential. And I was in the warm-up tent, was in the coaching box, was on the track when Khadivas qualified for a second Olympics, and it was just an amazing experience. Essentially, what I learned and the service that I saw these athletes getting developed an idea that why can't my patients, why can't my clients have a one-stop shop here? So I started doing a lot more coaching, and that's really how Maximum Velocity came about. And along the way, the NCAA announced that women's triathlon was going to be a college sport. And I thought, well, who's recruitable? Nobody. So I had two stud athletes I was coaching at the time, and we decided to create a team. And the team ended up putting 3 college scholarship athletes. And my dream is for them to race against each other once all this COVID business is raceable. And I want a picture of all 3 of them in their kits, all graduates of HYPERSPEED Las Vegas, and still friends, but racing against each other. And I can't wait to see that happen. The 4th athlete chose education. She's an amazing athlete herself. She could have raced if she wanted to, but ultimately she had options, and that's really what HYPERSPEED was about. Awesome, that's pretty cool. Sorry about the background noise. I have a crazy puppy back there. Can't get him to calm down. One of the common questions that there's going to be in this podcast is there ever a time where too much strength is a problem? Well, after 6+ years of predominantly strength training patients, I've never run across somebody who got a problem because they had too much strength. And I hope that each one of the podcasts, all the guests and the topics that we discuss will all have one common thread, and that's how strength plays a part in health. If I went to the mall and I selected 100 people at random, I'm probably not gonna find athletes who, or people who have enough strength to do what they wanna do. Squats, deadlift, push press, those lifts commonly are so doggone weak, and we don't realize that weakness hurts. And so helping people develop that strength is really why a lot of patients leave here better. But thanks for asking. Huh, I didn't know that. Well, if you had to give the main takeaways from this particular podcast, what would it be? Main takeaways from today are: Ron is a leader in the community. After 18 years of service to the community, he has realized that treating problems simply, using mechanical means to address mechanical problems, is the best way to help people feel better. That means chemical fixes are like hot pack, cold pack, ultrasound, electricity, dry needles, lasers, cupping, massage. All of those things change the chemical environment. They don't actually modify behavior, modify movement, and they don't adequately stress test our tissues to be able to tolerate the stress of the activity they're about to do. If an athlete is working at an 8 out of 10 level, but they get trained passively at 2 out of 10, how's that person going to get better? So essentially, other places are providing exercise, which gets us hot, gets us tired, maybe makes you sweat, but it doesn't actually help you train. Training is smarter than exercising, and at Maximum Velocity, we have the knowledge and the experience to help people adequately train and not just exercise. We provide mechanical solutions for mechanical problems and don't fuss around with all the fluff of chemical stuff. Mechanical fixes for mechanical problems, that seems like way better. Well, why does the community need Maximum Velocity? Oh my God, that's the most important question for today. The community needs Maximum Velocity because our system is broken, and patients need a place they can go where people listen, people get exactly what they need, and not a stitch more. We don't accept insurance because the insurance forces the clinician to use fluff, and the patient doesn't get better in that environment because there's usually 1,000 people in there. So we provide smarter care. We can adequately evaluate your gait. We've done over 200 gait evaluations and is the expert in the community on gait. We use strength training and barbells to help people feel better. So strength and conditioning athletes, CrossFitters, general gym goers can learn how to adequately use a barbell. We are advanced orthopedic specialists, so we use manual therapy and really smart techniques to help people feel better. I mean, I'm trying to be the clinician that I would want to be if I go to, and that's not get put in a corner with a list of exercises and see somebody different every time. I want to be a better athlete if I go somewhere. And when people come here, they're better athletes when they're discharged than before they got injured. And that's the kind of clinician that I want to be. UNLV's physical therapy program UNLV's physical therapy department says that we're the only true sports PT in all of Las Vegas. That's all we do. If the place that you're going to has 80% Medicare folks, sorry, it's not a sports specialty place. They don't specialize in that. It's a marketing ploy to get you in there. Active people, young and old, come here to get better. Advanced orthopedics help just about everybody get better. And running medicine is really great orthopedic care. And if I can get some of these problems to run, that literally means I can treat anybody. The modalities that other place uses, opioids, injections, surgery, all of those things we're trying to prevent. And those things don't actually get patients all the way better. So I try to build relationships. I'm lucky enough to be able to treat the whole family, to have word of mouth spread like wildfire. And after 6 years of my own practice, I'm so excited to be able to see how all these webs of people continue to unite us in a style of care that is proactive, preventative, and gives you the tools for the future to be a better athlete. Wow, that's really great. That's awesome. So the last thing that I'm going to do as part of this podcast, and if anybody knows Ron, he's really into music, and he's really missing live music at the moment. And with our many guests and the eclectic connection of people, I want to know what music they're listening to. And if anybody has any suggestions on what I should be listening to, or for the podcast for that matter, certainly happy to hear any of that. But Ron, what would you say you're listening to? Before I answer that question, Maximum Velocity has tons of social media on Facebook, Maximum Velocity Physical Therapy, Instagram, MVPT, website, has a blog. Feel free to go there and read, maxvelocitypt.com. You can give me a call, 702-998-2900. Be happy to answer any questions over the phone, see if we would be a good fit for each other. And to answer that question, the White Stripes is what I've been listening to. They just released the Greatest Hits album, and man, is it awesome. Peace.